Hello, welcome to Goodnight Flagstaff. I'm Jen Geyer. I read for you last night, but I get to read for you again tonight. And I love this book, so I'm super excited. Thank you for tuning in to our community story time. You can find a new chapter from one of our favorite family-friendly books at 8 p.m. each weeknight on the Literacy Center's YouTube channel and on Creator Radio, a local online radio station. The previous chapter is replayed on Creator Radio each weeknight at about 7:45, just before the new chapter airs. You can also listen to all previous Goodnight Flagstaff recordings on YouTube. We are currently reading Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. If you'd like to check it out to read along with us at home, it is available in the Hoopla app with your Coconino County Library card. Check one out today. Please email us if you'd like to join our team of readers and connect with your community through stories. All ages welcome. Our email is goodnightflagstaff@gmail.com. Last time we read together, Nizhoni arrives late to the Ancestor Club, but Davery doesn't question her when she tells him her dad was kidnapped. Then Nizhoni and Mac are called to the front office for a family emergency. Quickly, Davery helps her plan her next move. Then she runs to find Mac before Mr. Charles can kidnap him, too. Chapter 12. Like that time at the water park, but way better. I can't find Mac anywhere. My heart's beating so fast it's hard to think past the panic thumping in my chest. What if he's already in the principal's office? Would she hand him over to Mr. Charles without a note from my dad? Maybe the monster forced Dad to write one. What if I'm all alone now? But then the loudspeaker comes on again, and Mrs. Peterson, sounding increasingly annoyed, orders Mac and me to come to the office. This time she adds, "Now." I exhale, relieved. My brother's still free. But if that's the case, where is he? Not in the school, or he would have gone to the office. Which could only mean Adrian Cuttlebush. I take my family picture out of the frame and tuck it in my back pocket along with our train tickets. I wish I could keep the frame, which I made for my dad years ago, but it's too bulky, so I regretfully drop it into the nearest garbage can and head over to the baseball field. Sure enough, Adrian's still there, along with his 3 friends. And in the middle of their circle stands one terrified-looking Mac. His backpack is lying by his feet, with the tip of his iPad sticking out, and his new box of fancy-colored pencils has spilled on the ground. Rage rises in me, turning my vision red. I clench my fists. Nobody messes with my little brother on my watch. But just as quickly as the rage came on, doubts begin to swirl in my mind. What if I mess this up the way I messed up the basketball game? And confronting Mr. Charles and everything else I do? Shake it off. Doubts or no doubts, I have to help Mac. Besides, I have monster fighting skills now. This will work. Right? "Hey!" I shout, stalking forward. "Leave him alone!" Adrian and his buddies turn to look at me. "Well, if it isn't Nizhoni Baloney," Adrian drawls in that irritating voice he has, deliberately mispronouncing my name. "Heard your epic fail at the basketball game." "My nose! My nose!" one of the other boys squeaks in a voice that sounds absolutely nothing like me. Okay, he sounds exactly like me. I can feel my face heating up in embarrassment. "Hey, Marcus," Adrian sneers. "Too bad you have to have your sister come and protect you, especially when everyone knows she's a loser, too." They burst into belly-clutching laughter, as if Mac and I are the most hilarious kids they know. I remember what Dad said about not attacking people, no matter what, but I can't help it. I just want Adrian to shut his stupid face. So, like I did last night with Mr. Charles, I lash out. My fist flies before I can even think to stop myself. But Adrian's way more agile than Mr. Charles was, and he dances out of range. My glorious punch passes in front of his nose, missing by inches. Momentum makes me stumble forward. My foot gets caught on Mac's backpack strap, and I trip. And smash! I fall face first into the dirt with an oomph. Adrian and his friends laugh even harder. A little blood trickles out of my nose. Visions of yesterday's humiliation flash before my eyes. "Quit it," Mac shouts. "Leave us alone." "Or what, Marcus? You gonna draw mean pictures of me?" "Marcus, be gay," Adrian shouts. "Oh, please be gay." "Gay, gay, gay," they chant, like the brainless homophobes they are. Mac growls, like literally growls. I've never seen him this angry before. His hair is hanging down over his eyes, but I can tell he's been crying, and he wipes his runny nose violently on the sleeve of his jacket. His whole body is shaking. "You're a joke," Adrian says. "You and your loser sister." He reaches down and scoops up Mac's colored pencils. The special ones, like our mom used to use. Mac saved up for them all last year. They are his favorite things in the world, even more precious than his iPad. And when I hear Adrian snap one between his fingers, it feels like something just snapped inside me too. Mac screams, an animal-like blood-curdling cry of rage. He slams his hand onto the ground, palm flat. And it might be my imagination, but I swear the ground shakes under my feet. A low rumble rolls across the baseball field, like an army of badgers tunneling through the earth. And then, suddenly, all the sprinklers turn on. There have to be a dozen of them, and they burst into life, shooting water in thin, razor-like streams right at Adrian and his friends. "Ow!" one of the boys says as a malevolent sprinkler rips across his chest with a pointy blast. "That hurts!" "What the heck?" Adrian says as water beams him right in the eye. "Are the sprinklers attacking us?" the other boy says incredulously. And I realize that's exactly what they're doing. The jets are all pointed at them, zipping back and forth in sharp slashing cuts or pulsing bursts aimed at their eyes. Adrian stares, jaw gaping, and one sprinkler shoots a stream right into his mouth. He sputters and spits, stumbling backward. Another sprinkler pops out of the ground just as his heel hits the edge, and Adrian Colobush goes sprawling on his back into the fresh mud around home base. He scrambles to his feet, trying to fight off the water assault. His friends attempt to help him stand, but they are all slipping and sliding now, the ground soaked through. The four of them go down in a big splat. Adrian has to crawl to the dugout fence before he can pull himself up. Once he's on his feet, he looks back at us with terrified eyes. I shrug. It wasn't me. Max still has his palm on the ground and a determined look on his face, confirming that it was him. Adrian must realize it too, because he and his friends start running across the field, back toward school, clearly shaken. The only problem is, there are sprinklers all over the field, so every few feet they get creamed by another burst of water, and then another, until they practically fall over the outfield fence trying to escape. I want to laugh, but Mac's eyes are glazed over like he doesn't even know I'm here. "Mac," I say, shaking my brother's shoulder gently. "They're gone. You can stop now." "Mac? Mac!" He blinks like he's coming out of a trance, then looks up at me. His face is wet with tears, and he's got a serious snot bubble. But I don't say anything mean, because, dude, what just happened? "You just made the sprinklers attack them, right?" I ask, my voice hesitant. I mean, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. He swallows hard and then nods. "Have you ever done anything like that before?" He shakes his head. And I realize that whatever Mac did to control the sprinklers must be related to the powers Mr. Charles was talking about last night. I've made water move before," Mac confesses. "Like in the bathtub. But I thought maybe I was just imagining it." "You weren't imagining it," I whisper, a smile breaking over my face. "You have a special ability, just like I do." He sniffs up the snot bubble, thank God, and brushes his hair from his face. "The monsters? So you really can see them? And fight them?" Although, admittedly, my trying to hit Adrian didn't work. But maybe it was because, as much of a jerk as he is, he's just human, and not an actual monster. "Cool," says Mac. "Not necessarily," I say. "Mr. Charles knows about our powers. They have something to do with Mom's side of the family. and I'm pretty sure he wants to kidnap you." "Me?" he squeaks. "What did I do?" "It must have to do with all this." I gesture to the sprinklers that are now gently watering the outfield like they weren't tiny mutant water warriors 5 minutes ago. "Part of his company's business is fracking. You need a lot of water for that. I think that's why he wants you." "But he didn't say anything at dinner last night. If he knew then, why?" His voice drifts off until his eyes bulge. "He did ask me if I liked to swim. Do you think maybe he was fishing for an answer?" He giggles. "Fishing, get it? Fishing?" Sometimes Mac is such a dork, but I've never been happier to hear his bad jokes. "And what about you?" he asks. "Does he want to kidnap you too?" I chew my lip, not sure how much to tell Mac about what I overheard, but I decide he should know the truth, since we're both going to be on the lam. "I don't think he wants to kidnap me. I'm in his way. I think he just wants me dead." "Dead?" Mac yelps. "Yes, which reminds me why I'm out here to begin with. We have to go. The principal and Mr. Charles are going to find us any minute now." I start gathering up the pencils and other stuff that spilled from his backpack. Among the piles of junk, I find a semi-clean tissue and hand it to him so he can wipe his nose. But I leave a glob of something that looks suspiciously like a ball of chewed bubble gum in the grass where it fell. "Dead? Like, dead? "Yes," I say, stuffing more pencils into his backpack. "And that's why we need to run." "We don't need to run," Mac says. "We need to tell Dad." And here it is. We can't. "Why not? Come on, Nizhoni. You can't keep this from him. Dad will believe you now, for sure." "Because Dad already knows," I say. "He's the one who told us to run." It's not exactly a lie, but it's not the whole truth either. "Really?" Mac looks dubious, and I don't blame him. But if I tell Mac what I saw, he'll worry too much, and I need him not to freak. I dig our train tickets out of my back pocket. How else would I have gotten these? What are those? Train tickets to Gallup. Gallup? Why? "There's a lady near there who can help us. Promise?" I don't tell him her name is Spider-Woman, because I know that will send him down a whole other tangent, and we only have so much time. Mac takes a moment to process it all. I hold my breath, waiting to see if he's going to believe me. Finally he says, "If Dad said so." I smile, relieved. I stand up, holding out a hand to pull him to his feet. Then, before he can ask any more questions, I say, "I'm sorry I didn't help you beat Adrian Cuttlebush. All I did was make it worse." He slides his backpack over his shoulders. "You did great. Plus, I didn't need you to save me," he says, standing up straight. "I took care of Cuttlebush all on my own." I grin, happy for my little brother. "You sure did. But how did you end up out here with them, anyway?" He groans. "It's a long story, and you wouldn't believe me if I told you." It must be embarrassing. I don't know how Mac gets himself into these situations, but I know not to push too hard. It's bad enough that he has to deal with bullies. I don't need to pile on him, too. My phone buzzes. It's a text message from Davery. "Davery, are you at the train station yet?" "Nizhoni?" "Nizhoni. No, but I found Mac." "Davery. Well, you better hurry. Everyone's looking for you. They even have school security out now." "Nizhoni. Whoa! The ICCS cops?" "Davery. Mrs. Peterson just walked into the library. She's talking to Maya now. GTG. I'll join you as soon as I can." I swipe my phone off and drop it back into my pocket. "What is it?" Mac asks. "Time to go." Thank you for tuning in. Join us next time for Chapter 13 of Race to the Sun. Good night, Flagstaff.